Last week, we have created a couple of examples wherein we started visualizing or analyzing the data from multiple perspective in multiple ways or multiple dimensions. We fundamentally looked at the data. Now, with all these things, how do we really make the dashboards and the reports is a very important thing because it helps in the narration of the story, right? So it's no more a simple visual, but rather it tells a story. So placements, arrangement of the visuals, what to pick, where. So all these things do truly make a good visualizations fundamentally. So it can be decided or it can always be adjusted, but it's good to plan at least once. So what I'm doing now is I'm doing the ticket analysis. So it's very common that we need to have a very summarized view of what is my team is doing, what is my overall backlogs, or what is my overall volume with which the team is working. Then I will dive deeper into every sections of how many incidents I have, when they are opened, when they are closed. Same thing applies to other types of categories. Then I would probably go one more line saying that, okay, how is my team really loaded across? So all these perspectives. So based on the use case, you can create number of pages, number of sheets. So all these are reports, and I will show you a couple of options. We don't need to redesign everything. Rather, we can use the facilities inside the box. Okay. So the summary, I just named it as summary to start with. The very first thing to see is how many tickets I have at a glance. So for which I have a visual, which is called card. If you see here, this is called card. Okay. What it shows one value. Okay. So my number, and I wanted to have the count. I wanted to have a distinct count, in fact, here. So I would be seeing the number of tickets here. Okay. Now, if this is my total count as of today, total volume. But if I want to have only the volume of incidents, the one way to do, I did a copy paste now. I did a copy paste by selecting the visual. Then we know we have a field called task type, which I can drop it onto my visual filter. I did a drag and drop to visual filter. I would select incidents.
Here, copy paste is just like Excel.
Yes, you select a visual,
Okay.
you copy, paste it. It will be pasted on top of the same thing, and you would pull it and place it at the where you need it. So when you copy paste it, it would copy along with the filters, all the customizations, exact Excel copy paste. Okay. So I am now here. I did a filter on top of my visualizations. I selected incident, so my number is incident. What I'm saying is incident. Now the same thing applies here. I need it on a problem, let's say. Then I'm paste, so I got the filter there. So instead of problem, I'm interested in this, the request, the last one being changes. So now, so this visual helps me to have a summary, right? Now, all of them visually showing just count of numbers. What are they? Now we need to format them a bit to make it much more sense. Okay. The way to do it, you can format all the visuals at once. That option is available. How do you select all of them? I did control and selected them, or you drag and select, even that would work out. Or select by holding the select key, even you can select them. So you have a format visual, this paintbrush option, that will take you to the visualization section, or the formatting section. So here you have a various options. Under general, you will be having the common formatting options across the visuals. From the placement or from the grouping standpoint, you will be seeing all the common, be it the titles format, the background color and all, you will be generally seeing them under the general. But the very visual specific formatting options are under the visual section. Okay. So per se, if you wanted to, not instant title, but let's add, if you wanted to add padding, position is still good. Don't want title though, but category. So this is my category. In fact, this category is this one, the value on which you are working. Okay. So
Right.
here you wanted to select a color. It is the color of this category. And now you can change these colors, as well as if you want to change, if you wanted to add the title, we not add a title. So this is the total count. Select this, go here, and of tickets. So that's the total number of tickets. So if you, I think it's visible, right? It's at the top.
Right.
So that become the heading, that become the title of it. Then you can also decide the placement of the particular title. You can make it center. You can have a background color. You can have a text color. So all these general formatting options are available, including the font, bold, a font size, everything. So your organization may have a very specific font choice. So those things can be applied. So it basically just picks up them. Okay. And you can have a dynamic title as well. That's also possible. We will see that. But so that this is how you get a table. Sorry, the title. The other way is if you are not interested in the titles, because titles are generally at the top. My preferable choice is I will just go with this count of number. What I would do is I would rename it here. So a double click will give me rename option. So total number of becomes my title, which is good for me, right? So the similar way I would go with. So the best, the easiest, another option is, instead of numbers, if you rename the column number as ticket, you will just get ticket there, count of tickets. That's how the Power BI is doing it, right? Constructing the names. So we can also do that. Count of incident. Or if I come here, or if I rename this as tickets. See, everywhere it become tickets, count of tickets, count of tickets. So it is the naming convention that influences everything on the screen. Okay, that's one portion. Now I know this is my problems, count of problem tickets. So as these formatting options are helping me to format the visuals. So this will help me in terms of placements, or even the color, font, every options are provided. So this is a card visual wherein you will see one value. Okay, it can be any value. If it is a text, you will be given two options, which is count or counter distinct, or if you're interested in showing the first or last. For example, if you wanted to see the first date per se, if you wanted to have the date here, for example, we are refreshing the data. We are refreshing the data. So you wanted to have the refreshed time, okay, or the latest ticket, right? So you add the visual here, which is date. Now it become earlier or latest. If I made latest, so this is my latest ticket on this whole dashboard, visually saying, right? So when you refresh the data, you will get a new value here, because the latest do changes at every new data set, or at every refresh. So you can say my latest ticket got created at this time. So this gives that visual feeling as well. Okay. So you can place, or you can say that my report is refreshed at so and so time. So this would be, you can say, That's the timestamp, which we can keep. So date, you would get earlier and latest. If it is text, you can select the first value or the second value. Sorry, the last value. If it is a number, you would be given all these aggregated functions. Okay. So based on the need, we can say it is based on the type of the column, all the options will be present under this field for card. So we can change them. Okay.
Okay.
So this is the earliest, which means the oldest ticket in my dump, my data set. This is the latest ticket in my data set. Okay. So these sorts of options are available for card. Then formatting options, I'm not going into a very specifics of it. These are all can be explored. Okay. So we have options for if you wanted to go at very unit level. I mean, for example, let's pull out the TAT. Okay. We just wanted to understand the TAT. We are not interested in sum of the TAT. That makes no sense. So the maximum TAT is 781, or my average is 49.19. So these display units are, if you have a millions of or thousands of values, you cannot really fit them in this box. So if by default, the system does some sort of aggregation when it is showing the unit of values. So you can say auto would pick, if you are, for example, having 1,000 values, it would say 100K. Okay, so it does that aggregation. But if you are interested in making it very specific units, you can always force it. Okay, none would give you the complete number. Auto would pick what is best for this at this particular size of the visual. Okay, so these options are available. We don't have a bigger unit to showcase the billions without value. So I just have 45. So yeah, it is 0K fundamentally when it is aggregated at that layer. So auto generally does a good job, but if we are interested in showcasing the value in a very special format, if we wanted to know the exact number, then we can come here and select none. Or if our interesting point is to round it at the thousands or millions, that can also be done. Okay, this call out value will help in that. And yeah, we'll look at some options in other places. So these are some visual indicators. You wanted to have the background color, transparency of the visual, borders, shadows. So the visual clues, how it's these things you can apply to every other visual as well. These are very generic formatting options. Okay. So if you are not interested, simple disable will take out all those things. Okay. These properties, its height, you can fix the height. I mean, you can enter the numbers. For example, if you wanted to maintain a symmetry across, and it is sort of a problematic one to really drag every time, rather you can copy paste the height everywhere. That would work out. And you can also log the aspect ratio. So it's not a good idea to log the aspect ratio. The reason is when you publish this dashboard onto the website, the viewport, the size of the monitors do change, right? So if we do not lock it, these visuals will be rendered in best fit approach. So the layout will not be disturbed. Rather, if we are fixing the aspect ratio, the visual appeal may not be really good. But the option is given. If that is our requirement, we can still do that. Okay. That's our visual. So we have one summary. Now, I wanted to, the next option is if I wanted to see my ticket counts by team. So I can also, the way to do it in the Excel is to pivot. Here as well, I have an option which is pivot, but here it's called matrix. matrix. Okay.
Okay.
So what are my rows? I can pick up the team, and the values are based on the tickets. So, and because it is a text, you will be given this option. I'm looking at the count of distinct. So as I get this, right? Then if I wanted to dissect by column, I can still do that. For example, do I have active column here? No. So let's dissect by the priority. So it's the exact pivot what we have in the Excel, which we can do that. Okay. So you can add a number of columns, you can add a number of rows, and you can also add multiple dimensions or the values to it. So for example, you wanted to look at the turnaround time as well.
Right.
From those categories. So instead of sum, let's pick up average. Okay. So for every column, you would be getting the count of tickets, the average turnaround time. So these calculations would be made by the Power BI automatically. These are fundamentally measures though. But for every column dimension, your data will be presented into two different views. Okay. So, and there is no limitation. You can add as many as required. And the same thing with the rows. If you wanted to add, let's say, okay, let's add priority under rows. So now you will see it as an hierarchical option. Okay. So you open it, you would be seeing the priorities and their respective tickets as well as the average days.
I see. Just
So
like a pivot, like we can treat
it's pure pivot. Yes, it's pure pivot. We can add a number of rows and number of columns, no restrictions. The only advantage, it's the common advantage. I mean, Excel, when we add more rows for analysis, it starts performing bad.
Correct. That's true.
For,
The more
right.
data it
So,
slows
yeah.
down.
Yeah. So here, those problems are not there at least.
Right.
So we can start creating the visual or the pivot the way we wanted. And it just, so yeah, this and even again, this visual also has the formatting options. Many formatting options are available here. The what and all we can do it in the Excel. Yes, we can perform all the options. If we do not want to have the column level subtotals, we can take out row level subtotals, we can remove them. So all the options what we generally have it in Excel, they are available here. At the same time, this layout or the theming is one option. They would it's a pre-formatting text or the rows. Okay, so there some options are given out of the box. We can select from these choices, or most of the cases default is better because you are not enforcing anything under the screen. And if there are accessibility options enabled, all these things would be rendered much better.
Right.
Okay. So these options are available. So layout is compact. I think in Excel we at times go with the traditional layouting, right? So that is this tabular layout instead of the pivot layout. So this option is tabular. The compact is the pivot fundamentally. So indentation, I can control the grid. I can control every option. So I would say explore them. It's all self-explanatory. Okay. If we have the URLs given here and all, so based on the type of the columns what you are working, some more options would definitely be coming. And if you're showcasing the images here, you can also start controlling their sizes. Spark lines, it's a new option. So I think we don't have this. It is not enabled for this data set. The blank rows, we are not interested in the blank rows. We can take them off. Okay. So I think spark lines, if we do the calculation by one dimension, we may get the spark lines enabled. Not yet. So control change. So I have two visuals here. Now, if I just wanted to see the data, I still have the tabular view. I just need to add my call fields into it. Ticket number assigned to and the configuration item. So it will start adding them as individual columns. Okay, the configuration item is empty. Even yeah. So my data comes in this way. Again, for column, we have, sorry, the tabular report, we again have the similar set of formatting options, the visual representations as well as the values. So we can control all these aspects of how we really showcase the data. Okay, I think let's select this color, alternative background color. I should select a better one. Good. Okay, so these options are available. This analyze, we'll get it in a different visual. And the one more point to remember or see here is you would still be getting all these options. You don't need to always show it as a simple table. If you when it comes to the assigned, if you have an aggregated value, you can still show the way you wanted. Okay, TAT days. So that would give me the number of TAT days. So it's anyway on, it is the sum is what you got, but rather if you say don't summarize it, you will get the exact TAT for that ticket.
Right.
So this ticket took 26 days. Okay, but if you wanted to, there is no point of making an average here. We are looking at individual records, but the options are available. The options are available. That's my point. Okay, and we can also do conditional formatting here. This option is available on click here and conditional formatting. So system do picks up the values or the color grading handle by default. If you are good, we can pick up that color grading. If not, the options are available. If not, the options are available. So it is the, I mean, we will not be writing the formula or the conditions the way we write it in the Excel, but rather it is the aggregations and the medium and stopped ranges. We can also add a middle color if we are interested. Okay. So it is, so do you want to apply it on the column or it should be done on the totals or only the totals? So we need to be giving those respective fields to say that, otherwise we can pick up these options. I think it's a confusing color. So the formatting options are available. You can do it by, to be precise, this is column by column conditional formatting. And I think there is no row conditional formatting. In Excel, we can control it in somehow, but not here. Okay. Undo. Column headers is not, make it bold. This is how. So every option is available. I would say explore them. They are very much self-explanatory, but yeah, we can create these visuals. This is one summary view. Okay. Then let's create one more pivot here to have a summary on the, we anyway have it here, but I think let's leave it there. Let's go to one more page. We can create a number of pages, and let's draw a visual on little. We'll go with the bar chart. Okay. So these bar charts or the column charts, their meaning, their purpose is same. It is that in the this is my X, this is my Y. Okay. So we can, this is bar and column. You can simply swap it. It fundamentally swap of X and Y fields. It's though they are, one is column, one is bar, but it is a swapping of X and Y fields essentially. So we can have these visuals, as well as if you're looking at the clustered columns, I mean, we can add multiple fields to it, and we can group them together. The visual do group them together. We will see that. And for it again, you can it is always based on the requirement though, but when we have more values, clustered will make much more sense. Okay. We'll draw the visual though. Let's look at some formatting options here for the column chart. So you can have continuous values. So for example, if our list of values are huge in terms of the range, this will be given. So the automatically PowerBI comes to this sort of continual values. Or if you wanted to have a very special, or you want to have the Excels on the same categories of your data, you can also do that. Rather, if you say continually, it tries to make a series out of the data, and it will ignore. It's not ignore, it would not present every information on the screen, but you will have that information on the visual. Okay, just that. So if you're having more information, see, the moment I'm shrinking it down, some rows, sorry, the X elements are being hidden. It's just that, but the data will not be lost. This is an option when we go with the continuous. But if no, my choice of I wanted to see each and every value, we can still do that. So the problem is at times we may not fit everything. At times we can fit it. So it's again the visual. It is the meaning what we wanted to convey to the end users, right? So based on that, we have these options by default, or be it the bar, column, or even the categorical. All these will pick up the continuous. Okay, by default, but we have the control. Okay. Why the same way? If we are interested in grid lines, we have the grid lines here, the same Excel formatting options. It's our wish whether to have them or not. And we can control the colors and everything. So there is this one neat option available under zoom slider. What is this is you can go into a very specific range. You have a very huge amount of data. Instead of applying additional filter to look at only that portion of the data, you just need to enable this zoom slider under the visual formatting options. Okay. When you enable it, you will be given these sliders. So now you are only looking at the data for this particular portion. And you are interested in looking at what is after 200, you can again focus. Okay. So it's all dynamic calculations, but this analysis you can do without doing much of additional visuals, additional filters, nothing as such. One interesting option to really analyze the data. Okay. Data labels. Yeah. If we enable it, we will see the data labels, the same Excel data labels. We can control the position, orientation, everything. Where do I want to really place it? How do you want to place it? Is it vertical? So all these options, the same options what we have in the Excel, we have available here. So we can control whether to overflow or not to overflow. It's all these options are available essentially. Okay. Then yeah, the background options, plot area background is, you can have an image. Do I have an image? Let me just find one image. So yeah, you can have an image in the backend. Okay. You can make it fit, fill, normal. So
image, you can embed the image inside basically.
Yes. So yeah, we can control the transparency and everything. So those options are available. And title is the title. There are more details options. If we wanted to add category, first category, if you blank as 0, so it's not visible here. Wait, let me increase the size of it. See, I got one more entry now, right? That is my category. I have included one more detail in my labels, data labels. So instead of creating one more visual, I can just add my field into it, and that will be shown as a data label. Okay, it's our choice. So even that option is available under the data labels. Ribbons, we have a special visualization for ribbons. So they are, in a way, it's called area chart. No, sorry, it is the ribbon chart. We have it, but if you have, you can also enable just this ribbon option as well. So it shows a continuous flow of the data, essentially. Okay, the general options or general options, and we can control the formatting. Created, it is looking at whole number. Now this become month and text. Okay, leave it. That's this chart. Then we have this stacked bar, which fundamentally does a calculation. It basically shows the values as the percentage. So how to differentiate this is, if we add a legends, a category into it, it shows the distribution of the tickets in the at every category. So this is my distribution of the ticket problem, which is 46 percentage in the year of 2022. My request items are 33%. So instead of showing it as a numbers, the numbers will be scaled to the 100%. And this visual makes much more sense when we are having the legends added, because it's a categorical separation, right? So that is this. We can do both horizontal and vertical. It's just X and Y swap, no difference. Then we also have the line chart. You can draw the line chart and you will be given all these options, same options, X and Y. It is the representation. I think this would make much more sense based on the amount of sales, amount of transactions done over the course of the time. So there in the visual is much better. Our data is also a little flat, so as we are not seeing it though, but yeah, that is doable. Now, when it comes to visualization, you will also be given one more axis. See, you have x-axis, you also y-axis, and you have a secondary y-axis. So you can start plotting the data from two different angles. For example, let's add TAT days. TAT or TAT days is not coming. Okay, sorry, TAT, it's not picking up the TAT days at all. Let us do by team. It's not even taking team. Move to secondary axis. So, 1 minute. Send group is also would make no sense here. Priority, it's not even taking. I just need another integer value. It's taking none of them. Okay. Should take assignment group. We have more views. Sorry, this is not small, but come here, secondary access. I will show you that. Okay, but anyway, this has been rendered. So now you can, this small multiplies. This is one additional option that you can see in couple of charts. Line chart, then even in the funnel, but the waterfall chart.
Right.
It's even there in the bar chart. So the option of this smaller multiplies is you can look at this same data from individual portions or the multiple data points. For example, if I put the task type here, that would probably makes much error in fetching the data. I have task type everywhere. Now see, this is my open ticket data across multiple categories. One visualization is showing all of them at once, right? So that is this smaller multiplies. If I remove it, it would be one single graph. Rather, I am creating a category for it. And that would be my task, the smaller multiplies. Secondary access, it is not picking up any category or it has too many values. No, assignment group is a wrong choice. Categories is also task type. See the categories. We have more dimensions here, the quarter and day. When I removed it, it started picking it up. So now I have two y-axis. On the left side, this is the count of tickets. On the right side, it is the count of categories. So I am showing the same data in two different dimensions. So the secondary y-axis is also available for us to analyze the data. This option is available in the latest Excel though, but yeah, it is a possibility. Okay. Then the area chart, I think we don't need to discuss this much. It's the same. This is our
just a different visualization, right? Different types of chart.
Yes. Then the line and stacker chart. This is our combined chart or the complex chart in the Excel, where we can do the column chart as well as the line. So I need to add one more line for it. So if I add the line, so I would be getting a column chart as well as the line chart. This is my combined chart in the Excel, the same one. Okay, one is in the clustered format, one other is in the column format. That's the only difference. Then the column legends, smaller multiplies, we can do it. I mean, it's all the need how we wanted to proceed. Okay. So let's add the both. Instead of created, let's pick up closed. I'm just adding it to draw the visualizations. Okay. So this is one more. Then on my summaries, let's do one thing now. Here we are seeing the whole of the tickets opened across all the types of the tickets, and my tickets closed across all the ticket categories. Now there is one way I can filter it out by adding slicers. We have already seen it. I just need to add my task type. So I can filter in this way. That would give me the respective data, right? The other way, instead of, if your need is to add a filter, please do. If not, there is little different way in which we can also do that. So for example, let's add the task type as a drill through filter, which is under the visualization. So the advantage of this is, this is what my fundamentally trend. This is fundamentally my trend, right? So okay, that option is not available here. So let's add one more pivot, which is my task type by the number of tickets and the distinct, right? So you do a right click on the particular any element for that matter. Okay, you would be presented these options. Wherever you have applied the drill through filter on which columns, you will also get one more additional option, which is called drill through. What this will enable is, if you click on it, the complete visuals on that particular page where you apply drill through will be filtered accordingly.
Right.
Now you have one single report which is filtered on the problem that I have initiated from a different screen, right? And you can do it for any one of them. It's like you are naturally navigating in the web applications. You would go to one special categories, web flow, right? So it gives you that sort of user experience. So drill through, because when you publish it, this becomes a web applications. So these options are available. You can right click, you will see this drill through option on the column which is applied as a drill through in any other report. Okay. And if you are adding this drill through in multiple sheets, multiple reports per se, you will be presented all those options there. So I'm again adding my task type for, let's say, daily view. It's not actually daily view, but yeah, let's probably name it as that. A good naming convention is always picked up in these options. So as I'm renaming them as well. So when you right click, you will be getting that new sheet as well automatically. Okay. So now you can filter it from there to drill view. It is applied. Now there are two options here. This is cross filter. You can call this from the other pages. That is what is this cross report. If you wanted to retain the filters, whatever is uploaded on this page, you can select this option. If not, you can disable it. So it will not consider any additional filters. It will just keep only it will only filter on the drill through. Okay. So that option is also available. Now the other this is scatter plot. Funnel part, again scatter plot, we can plot it on XY 3 data points especially. We need to have one more data point. We only have 2 data points. So our graph would be very much flat. I need one more data point to have it spread across like a true scatter plot. But for now, let's not do that. The funnel chart, this is also available in the Excel. The easiest way to see it is probably by team, by the resource count. So this gives me the sort of the pyramid sort of structure for me. Okay. So this is that same funnel chart we have available. I think we missed one chart here, the waterfall chart. So we can also draw the same thing. Categorical information, how each and every category is affecting my accumulated or the accumulated value. So that is what the waterfall chart do give us. So all those options are available. Now I have a pie chart, the donut chart, a slight variation of the value, the visual representation. Values is my aggregation, count of distinct. So this is my pie chart. This would be my donut chart. So functionality wise, there is no difference. You will have all the options exactly same, no difference to it. It is the visual representation, especially, and we can have more slicers. That's the only option. Okay. Then I think we did look at the maps. I'm not going there. We also have one interesting chart, which is tree map. I think we might have seen this more in the trading, the trading options coming up. So you can also see that. And now this shows my count of tickets across the categories. Let's go to the visuals, data labels. How many tickets? That's how you can do that. Legends makes no sense here because anyway the color coding is available here. The color coding automatically it picks it up, but again we have the control, no point. So the layouts, okay, there are various ways in which we can do that. Category labels, fonts, color coding, all these options are very much generalized ones. Okay, So it's a fulfilling chart. It just shows the information in a free flow categorical option rather than a visual. Okay. That is the stream map. We have these indicators. Then we have a gauze. I think gauze is an interesting one. We also have something for KPI. Okay. I'm just removing this. Let's add a gauze chart. So gauze chart fundamentally have a starting value, a minimum value, and a maximum value, and the target, which is sort of my thresholds in this scenario, right? I'm okay to have certain amount of tickets in my queue. But by bare minimum is this is my threshold. That's how we operate. So we need to set those. So for example, my total number of tickets is my count, which is anyway this. Then I need to have min value, max value, target value. Now these are these are the KPIs in a way. These are something that we decide with the client. So those are again the static values. You can fundamentally create measures for them. Okay, you can say min threshold. Let's say in this case 100. It's a static value, so it will not be calculated again and again. Add one more measure for next threshold. So we should not be crossing. We shouldn't be crossing. Let's say the maximum threshold is 600, and my cap, my last threshold are my target. My actual threshold is per se 400, right? So you just need to add those respective fields into here. The maximum value, minimum value, then my threshold, my cap. So I get all those things visually represented as in this God chart. Okay, that is what. So I crossed my threshold. It's a visual representation of one KPI per se, right? So it says the other way of looking at it is copy paste let's look at the turnaround. So turnaround, I should not be doing this, but I'm just calculating all of those things here. I need to define my turnaround. I should not be picking up this way, right? So the threshold for my turnaround is probably only 4. That's the industry standard for threshold. The incident should be closed in 4 days as per the industry, right? So that becomes 4. So it is not my count, but what is my average turnaround time? So I'm just picking up the average here just for my saying it. So it's 44, but the threshold is 4. My average is 44, which is actually bad, right? I also have a visual just to only see the KPI as a single value, which is my KPI indicator. So in this case, my target, I need to define the target for KPI. My turnaround time, my average turnaround time, I need to define, because the KPI will be defined for turnarounds, right? Let's define one more measure for TAT, KPI TAT. Let's make it 4. That is the maximum number of days. So that would be my target here. My trend axis is how I am performing across the timeline is something that I can pick it up. Okay. So the KPI would generate the value for me in the how far we are from the goal, the KPI. So that is what we can do it. The gauze will show the visually, but it will also say how much percentage of the KPI we are meeting. So there is one more option that we need to see here under the formattings, which is this, the trend axis. We need to explicitly say whether high is good or low is good.
Right.
That is the visualization. Okay, which is high is good or low is good. That is something that we need to say that. My choice of visualization is bad here, which I understood. Wait, the turnaround time, the value is, it is not picking up the ticket numbers. Count out distinct. So I actually met it. It is 75%. That's my target created across the timeline. So I can, based on my KPI definitions, I can start creating the measures, which defines the targets, and how I'm calculating the trend axis fundamentally, or the dimension in which we are calculating the KPI, that will be kept here, and my volume of the tickets would come here. Okay. So, and the very important thing to be noted here is the trend axis, which is good. So that's a visual cue what will be generated on the screen. Okay, so that's my KPI visual. I can have my slicers. So slicers have various options. Let me add a slicer here. Slicers are not just filters. You can make them as, you can format multiple options here. Task type, remove it. So under settings, slicers, you can make it as a vertical list or a simple tiles. So which becomes this. So see, it's always based on the size of the area available for this render visual. So based on that, the alignments are happening. That applies to every other visual. So now these becomes buttons. We can say that for simplicity, right? So now see, they are spread across. They are just, so the slicer gives this sort of nice options here. If you wanted to make it as a single drop down, even that option is available. And if you wanted to force the selections, you can select, it should be only single selection. You will get the radio buttons. If you are interested in enabling multiple selections, you'll get the checkboxes. If you wanted to add a select all, that will give you select all as well. It's all various options. Okay. So it is the amount of data. If you are dealing with hundreds of items, a drop down would be a good choice. If it is only 4 to 5 options, tiles is a good option. You can simply click on them to, instead of doing multiple clicks for drop down and making a selection, you can do this. It's because I have selected multi-select is enabled, so as it is selecting multiple things without even control click. So if I just make it as a single click, I can only click one of them. Okay, that's the difference. So if I deselect it, I can select multiple items at once. That's the difference. Okay, so this you can use it as the slicer. You can use it as, I mean, with the formatting options, you will be given multiple options. The one better way to do it is you can remove this complete heading. So there is no point of having this heading icon. Even the slicer header, it's clear or it just works with the intuition. It's a self-explanatory option, right? So I can remove my headings and everything so that you will occupy lesser space on this particular report. So the formatting options do give that. If you have developers and if you wanted to do the visual rendering through R script or even Python script, that's also possible. That is possible. Okay, we can write the code and we can do that. But I think that's not a really good option here though, but still that's possible in certain situations. If it is 1 or 2 use cases, we can go with this Python or R scripts. but the use case is very big, or if you are doing heavy transformations, the choice should be different one. We'll talk about it when we are discussing about the types of architectures. Okay, we have we have this interesting one, key influencers. I don't have more data. I think I will show it in a different dashboard, but let's draw the composition tree. So this hierarchically breaks your data. This hierarchically breaks your data, saying how are each and every portions are affecting your system. Let's pick up tickets. Explain my tickets by the category. I think the category should be here. Distinct category. Okay, or the best way to do it is analyze these tickets by the category and by the ticket type. By this is not model type. Where is my ticket type? Task type. Task type. I can also add this tab type. Oh, sorry, I did a mistake here. It is analyze my tickets. Analyze my tickets by these dimensions. So my count of tickets, explain this count of tickets by through these dimensions. You can add as many as possible. So it would start expanding the data into these ways. Okay. Now the advantage of this is you will have a clear-cut visual indication of how your data is spread across. I mean, if you truly use this decomposition tree visual, you don't need to have multiple dashboards. It's just that by visually clicking on these things, you will have a complete summary of information in one single report. Right? So my type is blank everywhere. No, I think I would get type because I don't have the data. So having the data, something is wrong with. So change, I have the data. So I have my emergency changes, normal changes, and this. So the other way to see is if I put team here, now this becomes the count of tickets. The tickets are spread across these teams. And L1 essentially has 90 incidents changes. So you are doing an hierarchical analysis. This is a very powerful utilization. As I said, you don't need to have multiple visualizations to see it. This one visualization can give you more data. Okay. Then narrative, Q&A, we will see them. Goals, we cannot do it here. It requires a premium subscription. We have a new card visual. We have a new card visual. For example, so this is my card. This is my traditional card. Copy, paste. This is that card which is selected. So I have a new card visual. So this fundamentally gives me more options. You can define it by the categories. Okay, so while it would not show it as a table, it is not a table, but this becomes your summary card. This is not table, but you can do that. Okay. So in the traditional card, you will be presented with only one information. One. What happened? I think PowerBI is hung. Yeah, it is hung.
So they do get hung as well, right?
Sorry?
Do they get like frozen up like every now and then regularly, or is it just sometimes?
No, just a momentary one.
Mhm.
So it is not a table, but you would be seeing it as the information in a card format. That's the only difference. It's okay. That's the, they are calling it as, yeah, card new. Earlier the name is a rich card. So either way, you can add, you can see the data in a little distinct way, as well as we also have um, button slicer, which would give me, which would fundamentally renders your options as pure buttons. Okay, that's what is this. Then you also have ArcGIS. This requires a license. This is a GIS applications. So ArcGIS is a service, right? So it requires a license and everything to use it. But yeah, that's on more visual. Don't do that. I don't know why it got these colors. Type standard coming from those locations. Where is the, okay, the type is added. That's a bad one. It picked up some locations. So yeah, this ArcGIS fundamentally needs a licensing and everything. It's a cloud service, but we have the visualization available out of the box. Now there are two more buttons available within the Power BI from the Microsoft Power Platform. So you can trigger some automated actions based on your data points. Okay, so Power Automate can trigger the workflows which are configured outside the Power BI. So that's completely a different concept. But what I meant to say is, if you can configure in this way, I'm just telling you an hypothetical scenario here. If my team threshold has reached to a certain value, you can configure a Power Automate action, and that can trigger an email. That can trigger an email to your team. Okay, so you can, based on the thresholds, whatever you configure, the Power BI can trigger some automated actions in the backend that you need to configure under the Power Automate. That's a different service outside of the Power BI, but you can trigger them. That's the whole point of they showing it here. Okay. You can trigger emails. You can even trigger some services. You can trigger multiple options based on the type of the data. For example, if you are not really doing well in terms of the trend, it can send at every data refresh, it can send you a summary of that. Or if we meet the KPIs, you wanted to congratulate the team, you can also make that as one more email or a Teams notification. It's all the facilities available inside the Power Automate. So you can essentially trigger all those options. What I meant to say is this Power Automate. Wanted to task mining. No. They're showing many more options, use cases. Guided tour. So yeah, this is how you will create the flows. This is how when your threshold reaches something, that can be a trigger, and you can write. You can fundamentally build this custom logic under Power Automate. It can trigger mails. It can send mails. It can create a record in a SharePoint. So you can do multiple automations. So that's part of the Microsoft Power Platform portfolio. Okay, so these visuals will help you with the integration of those automations inside the Power BI. Those are these two, but we also looked at additional the custom visualizations a while back, so we can get those visuals and do it. Okay, now There are any questions? Any questions, or is it good?
No, I'm good. I'm just trying to follow up. So when I usually follow the video recording, at my pace. So
Okay. So the one more option, or the two interesting options inside Power BI is, while we are trying to create the visualizations based on the views or the use cases, whatever we have. For example, if you have connected more information to Power BI, and you may not look at the data from different aspects of it, there is one thing that you can do outside the Power BI. Okay, so if you right click on any visual, you would be given an option called Analyze. So based on the data or the visualization, whatever you click, it would give you either explain the decrease. If you click on the March, you will see explain the increase. Okay, or also you'll have one more option, which is find where this distribution is different. So these are let's call them as the smart options, or the little additional options inside the Power BI. They would help you to understand why the increase has happened. See, fundamentally, when we draw the visualization, that is the first question we have. Why I have more tickets in the March? How come the tickets has come down in the April so drastically? That's a very natural question we would ask our team the moment we see the visual. If you connected more data points, for example, here I don't have my application names here. I don't have my business or the locations here. So when I have all that information, and if I right click on it, if I ask for explain increase, Power BI goes and it does an analysis with the data, whatever is connected to the Power BI, and it plots these sort of visuals. It tries to make, or it tries to give you various views which contributed to the increase in terms of the tickets. So now it's the same question we would ask, why I have more tickets in the month of March. And your Power BI can potentially give you the answer instead of going to the team, provided the more data points are connected. Okay, so if I say, let's say, explain the increase, at a glance, it is saying February I started at 5, March I ended at 157. What contributed for my ticket increase? It is my L1 team which contributed it. Well, there are others, but my L1 team, something that is contributed more. Okay, and the same thing, my type of tickets, I have more blank tickets, which means, see, the blank values are not really giving any meaning for us. So ideally we should give some meaning to those blank data fields in our data set, right? Otherwise you are not having a meaningful outcomes out of the data. So that, now again, if you need to see the value, what is this exact 96 number, we need to go back and do transform our data such that these blanks will have some meaning, right? Same thing here. Again, my blank accounted for more, but relative contributions are made by my system administrator, requested by. Okay, so system administrator, some service account is contributing more tickets creation. Then my incidents and changes are contributing to the higher volumes. I don't have those visuals created by me here anywhere, but on a click of this option, it is giving me those perspectives. Okay, and software contributed. So the moment I started filling those blanks, Power BI will give you more meaningful insights intelligently. Okay, so the focus, I mean, the moment we see, I think this is answering almost all the questions of what we generally ask the team. Why I have more tickets? Okay, L1 contributed more tickets. Now why L1 has more tickets? I think something went wrong with the software systems. If I have the blank filled, I will have something else. Okay, which applications are really creating the problems? If I connected the applications here, I may also have one more visual quoting about that, right? And who is the lead, who is looking after these tickets? Lead 2. I can go and only ask that person rather than asking everybody, right? So I have more critical incidents, which is a bad thing. So it is giving me that the analysis with the data, whatever is made available for my Power BI. So as I'm getting all these views, if you wanted to add this particular visual, one more cautionary word. This is generated by the AI. This is generated by the AI or ML fundamentally. It can also be wrong as well. So just have this cautionary thing before you confirm the outcome. If you feel by it is true, use it. If not, you need to validate it. The data is somewhere wrong. But generally, 90% you will have the accuracy. It's just a cautionary. We cannot just blindly go ahead with it. Okay, it's ticket data is okay, but if you're talking about the business transactions, the volumes of money and all, then we trusting this analysis can be create more problems, right? So as I'm just saying it, if you want this visual to be on the screen, click on this plus button. That will just add it to your screen. Or if you want to add it in different views, different visualizations, we can also select them and add it. That will get added to your screen. So that says it. Okay. Now, there is one more interesting visualization we have. I have applied filter somewhere. Okay, this filter, which is the narration. We generally have the weekly governance, monthly governance, quarterly governance. All these things are quite possible in every organization setup, right? Now, what is that we need to? We need to give that delta portion of the narration, the updates. What is happened in my last week, right? Power BI can generate that narration for us. Okay, so that is this visualization called narrative. And there are two options available. If your organization approved to use Copilot, you can select Copilot. If not, you can go with custom. So Copilot will make the narrative generation more interesting, more natural in terms of the text generation. Custom is the legacy way of generating it, but still it also does the job to 70%. Okay, we just need to tweak the sentences. Copilot does the job to 90%. Both the ways we need to review it. So in my case, I don't have a Copilot license. I can select the custom. So what it does is, see, it generated a textual narration of what is there on the screen. One minute. So this is my count of tickets started trending up on 2025, raising to in 6 seconds. That's the data I have though. So if I select changes, there is no narration. How come? Okay, let's have the narration generated in this trend. Count of tickets was highlighted for March is this, followed by January and November. March accounted 31% of the tickets across this visual. What is there on the screen? Across 12 months, count of ticket ranged from 1 to 170, 157. Right? If you filter it, see the narration has changed. Right? So the more the visuals you have, this narration is another very unique feature of the Power BI. It gives you, it fundamentally generates the narration for that particular context on the screen. When I say context, it is the visualizations, whatever is there on the screen, along with the filters, whatever you are applying. So November accounted 48 tickets, August accounted 38. But in summary, this is what it is. If I wanted to look at only October, November, I have the narration for October and November. And if I wanted to have the weekly narration per se, let's add one more visual because that's my data is on the weekly. So where is my weekly? This is weekly. Oh, this is weeks across the year. So my 45th week, that's the narration. It is doing a double click. I'm sorry. So you can essentially click on this. And so you would be given the narration of the 45th week. Now you are in the 46th week. You can select that. So you'll get the narration for 46th week. Okay. So the narration is something that the Power BI generates automatically. And you can add additional text here. You can also add the formatting and every other options are available. But this is an interesting summary that Power BI generates, and we can use it in our weekly reports. It is what has happened in the last week. So I will create a right set of visuals. And if I add the narration on that particular report page, I would be the Power BI would be generating a narrative of or the summary of what is there on that particular report. And the narration is always based on the context. If you are making certain selections or if you're slicing the data, the narrative would also be generated accordingly. So you would get a good accurate summary most of the times, but do a validation at least for initial uses. Okay. So that's this a narrative visual. It is. So something is wrong with the Power BI. I'm just closing the Power BI once and opening it again. After the hung situation, it's not really doing good. So my what I've learned through the course of the Power BI is generally we would be doing analysis to answer certain questions. Again, we will especially we would look at multiple data points to answer certain questions. So what I usually do with the Power BI is I'll try to gather all the sources from which I derive my answers. I would connect them to my Power BI. I would be connecting them to Power BI. Now, the advantage of connecting multiple data sources to Power BI is if I don't have that view, if I did not create that particular visualization from the very unique perspective, but if I wanted to understand my data, I would be using these options to analyze my increase, decrease options. So during this time, the Power BI would look at the entire data model. It will not just look at the particular subset of X and Y fields. No, rather it would look at the complete data model, which is made available for the Power BI. It starts generating the data in those from all those dimensions, wherever it makes much more sense. So that's how I can get more value out of my data, because I connected those data points as well to my Power BI. If I don't connect it, if I've been put up an option or a question saying that why we have more tickets in the month of November, the traditional way of looking at it is I would be going in. I would pull the tickets of the November. I would sort it where I have tickets, who and all are working on it. Then I will go and talk to those people to understand it. This is the traditional, this is the today ways of working, right? But if we connect all those data points, you may already have an even more narrowed understanding of your data. Now, when we looked at this a March analysis, what we understood is it is the L1 team who is contributing to the more tickets. Now, my focus can be only L1 team. Instead of asking a very generalized question to every of my leads saying that, okay, why I have ticket increase, I can go and put my focus only on the L1. So I have a narrowed down answer. The reason is this L1 data, if you recall it, this L1 data is not available earlier. We created it ourselves, right? During the transformation phase. So you connect more data points to the Power BI. Power BI takes all that into account when it is doing even more analytics. So you may not get it on the day one of what and all the sources that I need to connect to Power BI. But if you can make a connection, because if you're looking at various reports to derive the answers, my advice is you connect everything to your Power BI report. It takes time initially, but after a month of iterations, you will reach a very good place. You will have a very summary of, if I'm talking from the ServiceNow data analysis, what I do is I have a view on month-on-month closures, week-on-week closures, week-on-week opens. I have a backlog view. I also see where which team is working on what, where are my backlogs, and which applications are contributing more. In a way, I also went ahead to the portfolio level of the applications. I can extract all that information from my ServiceNow, in fact, right? I can in fact all that information from my ServiceNow reports. So my ServiceNow would give me the configuration item, and I also have something called services that will give me my application names. And I can also go ahead and pull my portfolios as well to which it belongs to. So step by step, I'm building the data. I am connecting all those individual entities. I will show you how I generally do it in my situation. Okay. So for example, you open any ticket. The way to identify all these data points is, this is my configuration item, and my services are my application names fundamentally. So I need to figure out a place where my services are stored, right? So when I have the service information, what would happen is these services will give me even more information. Whatever is being generated by Power BI, if you're seeing as all these individual connected data points, which means they are stored in some tables. It is my job to figure out those links, right? So the same case with the configuration item. This configuration item, mail server US. Okay, it is an independent one here. Affected CAs. Nothing for this, but the other one, the services, we have seen it, right? So what I would do is I would generate my report in that way. So for example, if you go to, there is a reports, there is a facility directly which is called reports, and so for example, I'm interested in, there is a report called all report would be there. I am doing a filter on incident. I would get something called all incidents. So what I am doing in my day in day out is I would edit this report. I would in fact create a duplicate of the original report, and I do not want, is there a grouping? There is no grouping. Run this report. Okay. I want it to be shown as a table. I want to see it as a table, which the name of it is list here. Where is list? Others, calendar, the list. So this list will generate me as a tabular information. Run it. I do not want any grouping. Let me remove my grouping, none. So this will generate me a tabular report here. Now what else I need? I need my additional data. Choose the columns. So when you come to the report section and when you click on this choose columns, you will be presented with more options. All the linked or all the child parent links are. So if you wanted to go inside your configuration item, when you click on this special items with the plus icon, you will be seeing an additional option here, this one. So when you click on this particular section will be expanded on the configuration item. Okay, so this is that configuration item. It got expanded now. Now I can pick up, I think the configuration name. Do I have something called name? And name. I don't have a name here, but where is this configuration item? I can pick up the domain, IP address. I'm getting server names, MAC address and all. So the name, this is what I'm looking for, the name of it. Then I can go back by double clicking on that. So I went back to my incident list and I wanted to see from which location I'm getting the tickets. That information is fundamentally stored on my caller information. So click on that. I wanted to understand my caller location. Do I have location? I have a location. And this is again another child that you can navigate inside. You can get longitude, latitude information, or if you just have a country information, you can get it. That gets added here. So that's how I am building more and more data. Okay. And go back to incidents. I can also go to services or service offerings. I think it is services. Don't add the whole of services, but rather open the trier. I think here it's name. Name will give me application name. Service.name is application name. And I wanted to understand the portfolio. I know it because I'm just adding them one after another. But you need to find those relations as well. So my user location is USA. I don't have any name, so I think the column name is wrong. Then if you go to services, let's probably just add the service name and see if you can get the name of the service. Again, this is empty. Okay, so that's how you would be adding more and more dimensions. So my assignment group, if you go inside any assignment group in ServiceNow, it says who is the manager as well as which organization this is working upon, the parent, right? So which means whether it is been worked upon by a different supplier, you can also have that information. So it is the data. It is the data with which you work upon every day, and the sources wherever look at. If you can pull that, prepare that sort of data by yourself and you make a connection to Power BI. Now, the moment I connect my user location, in fact, here I don't have my user location information in this report. So I cannot draw the visualizations on them. But the moment I have this, now the Power BI can also drive visualization here, as well as it can also say that, oh, you have more issues on the mail server. Now it becomes more specific, right? So it is the data which can give you more meaningful insights generated by the Power BI. So what I'm saying is, in your day, if you're answering the questions from your managers or from the data visualizations, whatever you are seeing, if you are deriving those answers by looking at even more structured data, make an effort to connect that data to the Power BI. The advantage of it is your Power BI will give you answer there in itself. Either you can draw the visualizations If not, you can do this trial and error approach, which will give you more dimensions to the same data set. And if that is interesting, you will have answer to it and go ahead and use it. Now they see here it is saying Oracle down is Oracle server is having the problem. So it picked up from the description, short description, right? Which is interesting. So it basically answered our question directly. Though it is L1 and all those things, now it is just the Oracle is down. Now the only question to be asked is why Oracle is down this month multiple times. Now our quest or the further journey has been even more narrowed down, right? So that's the advantage of this. We also have one more analysis that can be done here is the where is my distribution. So it says how the distribution of tickets happened over the course of the months. What is contributing to the today numbers fundamentally. So this gives me the visualization from the distribution aspects. Again, it looks at all sorts of data points available. All the data points available. So it is us who need to make Power BI more empowered or giving more context by connecting more data points, right? So we got all these views out of the box. And as I said, the narration, I think the narrative should work now. Let's do 48. I have these many tickets at this particular time. It is not pulling the week. Okay, but I think we can just make that point. So November is anyway 48, but if I'm just selecting 48, I'm not getting it. So can I add that here for the week? I just need this is my week here. No. It basically generated some values automatically. I don't want them. Cancel. Close it. For the week, I need this value. Week year, created by week year. My value is week number. Let's just add it here. That's the name. I got a wrong number. Why I'm getting the count of tickets, I think. No. It is generating a sum. It is not general. What is this visual? Go inside. It is the it is doing an aggregation, or rather I would say min of that. Okay, I haven't made the change. Oh, it is not saved, sorry. Value of is not really letting me to write the code. I just need to type it as a sentence. Become 1. Now see, I should get 48. It's the Jugaad way of doing it, sorry. So what I've done here is it is just showing me the sum. It picked up the sum by default. I wanted to write, I just need the selection value. So I said the minimum. So when I'm selecting only one value, that becomes the minimum value, right? So I said it as the minimum value. Okay. Or if you are interested in getting the latest week report, you can say maximum value of that. So that would give me 51 by default, because that's the nothing is selected. In the context, 51 is the max. So in the November, by the end of 48th week, I have these many tickets in the November. And if I'm only looking at 45, still I can get 45 individual. So that's how we can build on top of the narration as well. It is the number of formulas, it is the number of, so you don't need to write the formula, it is a text. That is something that you need to add it here. Okay. So that is this narrative visual. And we have some more options here. They are nothing to do with the visuals though. But if you wanted to add headings, you can do that. There is something called these elements, buttons, shapes. You can add all these. Is just the beautification of the report. Okay. So a text box, you can write a simple summary of this. The another the summary, I don't know, we are using it for writing the instructions, or we are using the summary as readme in my context. Okay, I'll just say how you need to refresh the data. That is some the documentation is something that we would write it here for our reference. Now, that can also be done. Now there is an option here to, you can remove them, you can hide them. When you say hide, you will still see it in the desktop, but when you publish it, it will not be visible there. That's the difference. Okay. And if you want to generate the mobile version of the report, the option is very simple. Click on this mobile layout. If you wanted to have all the visuals on the screen, you can simply make it as auto create. Everything will come sit there, and the Power BI does the good job of aligning them what best fits. Okay, it just do it automatically. If not, if you feel that's not what I needed, you can only drag and drop what you are really interested to show on the mobile. You can ignore the other portions. Now, you don't need to deploy it separately when you are publishing the report. When we publish this report, the same report will be published at once. If you are viewing this report from the Power BI mobile application, this layout will be rendered for you, not this, not the desktop version. That's the only difference. Okay, so you can make a choice of which visual to be shown on the Power BI mobile application. If you wanted to show everything, the best option is you can task to Power BI saying that you auto generate the layout. It does the best, it does the fitting and everything what it can do. Okay. And there are more options available. You have themes. You can customize the themes according to your organization color preferences. It is a matter of one selection. Or if we are creating a theme completely altogether, there is a documentation available. We can go. There is a big list of themes available out of the box from the Microsoft. If some of these things fit your organization, generally they don't, because they are from the community. They are not the professionally reviewed elements. But whatever is professionally reviewed, those are available here. So you can pick up those visualizations, and all of those things will be applied to across all the dashboard. Okay. And the page report is something that you can again choose. Either you can make it to fit to page or fit to width. Okay, so these things generally matter when we are deploying these reports on the command centers. If you are seeing it on the monitors and all, then you need to fit the viewport, right? So these options would help. These are the same self-explanatory, the PPTI options. Lock objects, you are restricting them to be not to move anywhere. People cannot drag and drop here and there, even in this mode. Snap to grid it gives you these visual clues and it will go ahead and do that magnetic snapping fundamentally. Grid lines are grid lines just for our visual indication. Okay, we will see these bookmark selections analyzers and later. Data modeling. Optimize, we will see that. We need to connect more data. I will connect more data. I said I will connect it by this week, but I haven't done that. I will connect more data so that we can see more options. We can also overload this. Okay, so this report looks much more dull now. Let me change the color. Yeah, so these options are available. Okay, any questions?
No, I mean, yeah, it has quite a bit of Excel functionality, but this seems to be a little faster than that.
Yeah. Yes. So yes, it's more. It is better scalable relatively when you compare with the Excel.
Way better. Yeah, way better.
Yeah, it's way better. And we essentially no need to create multiple visualizations to change the perspective of the analysis. You can use this inbuilt visual slicers and the additional analysis. So all those things will give you. I mean, you no need to have visual or pivot table for each and every perspective. That's avoided here completely. You can do those things on the fly and you can exclude them. Okay, so you can create more of these. They are giving you nowadays the Excel sort of options to make the adoption of Power BI even more easier. So if we wanted to change the calculations and all, earlier we need to write the DAX formulas and all. Now all of these are just a click of a button. Now you say I wanted to see the running sum, it just generates it. You need to just give the field name on what you want to generate the running sum. And I wanted to do it on my ticket. Oh, this is, sorry, I picked up a wrong visual. I'm doing this on the number. Okay, I got it. So that's my running sum. These were easily done in the Excel. They are also giving these options now on the visual layer without writing the formulas. That's my running sum on the numbers. I just need to give that column name here. Okay, so I want to do one more calculations. I can get away with all those options available so easily. And that's it. Okay, so it's more in a way it's a more intuitive interface, except the DAX portion. Except the DAX portion, everything is intuitive. The knowledge what we have on the Excel, you can sort of apply them directly here. Certain things are not straightforward, but still your intuition do work most of the time.
Right. Okay.
And the one challenge place where we would generally stop when we are migrating from Excel to Power BI is VLOOKUP.
Okay.
I just compare. I have two sheets of data. I will do a VLOOKUP and get my data from there to here. How to do it here is the first question we all get. Now that's part of the data modeling.
Right.
You are essentially you are comparing data in one table, one particular field in another table. That's what you are doing there. So that translates to the merging here. We are using merging option inside the data modeling, right? So here we need to do that merging. You would get what is available on the left table to the right table, sheet 1 to the sheet 2. That you would achieve through the merging. When we are doing this merging option, you are essentially again doing a comparison between two different columns. Here it maybe look like we are purely making a relation? No, you are actually doing the comparison only when you are doing the merging. If you find that information, return the specific value. Here in the Power BI, here you will get all the columns as the written. In Excel, we would say written only very specific column. We would give the column number, right? Instead, here you would be getting a complete table. Let's do that here, okay? So let's do a merge between these two, team and all tickets. I have my resource names available in the teams, so I can do a merge. I can, right? If I do a merge here, my let's come from the Excel world first. In my Excel, I have my ticketing data, sheet number 1. Sheet number 2, I have my people data. In my sheet number 1, I wanted to see the lead name as well. What is that I would do? I would go with my VLOOKUP, best option available. In Power BI, there is no VLOOKUP. It is merging. You would go with this option. Okay. Now team. I have a resource here. This is my unique column here. I also have a resource here under my assigned to. I know it. Right? So I need to get this data to this. So this is the much powerful way of doing the VLOOKUP. Now the advantage of this merge, this particular link between these two here is, in VLOOKUP, you are saying an explicit column to be returned. Here, when you do the merge, you are essentially getting the complete, all the columns. You'd get the complete table in summary. That would be appended at the end of your merged query. Now here it's your wish. Which one you want, which column you want. You can just make a selection of that particular field and you click on OK. You will get that and sit in your original table. This is VLOOKUP. The output you are achieving through the VLOOKUP in the Excel. Here you will achieve the same thing through the merging. Okay. That's one. This is the very first place where we will stuck. Okay, I used to get this data in this VLOOKUP. Where is VLOOKUP? There is no VLOOKUP.
Right.
Like that, there are some ways of working differences, but fundamentally the intuition of Excel, you can blindly or you can apply with 90% confident. They will just come and sit here. Except the DAX portion, though DAX do not work with intuition, unfortunately. DAX do not work with intuition, unfortunately. But yeah, there are little handrails or cues with which we need to work on it. It's more of a trial and error approach every time. But I don't know, it's not a very user-friendly programming language for anyone. That's one reason when teams are doing very huge data transformations, the architecture of the Power BI changes. The architecture of the Power BI changes. If you are probably end up in creating, let's say 20 DAX formulas, they will say, okay, let's go with the Power BI, plain Power BI, no problems. But if you are doing huge amount of transformations, the DAX is not the solution. That's when either the Azure Data Factory comes into the picture for a no-code, low-code platform choice. If we generally have programs across, if we wanted to leverage the programming skill for data transformations, we can go to ADF. Sorry, not ADF, Azure Databricks, ADB. Okay, there you can apply all these transformations through programming language. Everybody knows SQL, which is widely available skill. So you can do all the transformations on by writing SQL queries. So the cost of building is less, as well as the cost of maintenance is also less, because DAX is something that not everybody knows. It's in a way, it's like the VB script. Only few people knows it.
Right.
And it's not very intuitive. That's another problem. Not everybody can learn and master the DAX very faster. But yeah, though that's the architecture choices. There are even more choices. It's not just the DAX is the tiebreaker. No, and there are more points to be considered when we go with the ADF or the ADB. We will talk about it next week
Sure.
in detail. Okay.
All right.
And even Power BI do have limitations. While I'm showing you all the glorified pictures, it has some limitations. We will also talk about it next week.
Sure.
I will do a summary on I'll prepare some documentation for DAX for easier navigation of the formulas and easy to remember. So I'm in the process of doing it. I will also give you that particular report. Okay.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
All
I
right.
will load you. If any questions, happy to take. Otherwise, we'll stop here.